So today I'm going to review one of my books. This book is titled 9 Self-Mastery Habits that will help you overcome anxiety and become more confident in your life. It is part of my Self-Mastery Habits series. The reason why I wrote this book is because I wanted to share with you and with myself, some of the ways you can use habits to overcome anxiety and become more confident in your life. I mean, that's the reason, right? But under that reason, it's a bigger goal, which is improving your health and wellness and mine. One of the reasons why I write, and I write a lot, is because when I write, the research I do and the thoughts process I put into writing helps me to get more clarity in dealing with, some of the things that do come up. Sometimes in certain situations and circumstances, you might find yourself being a little bit more anxious than you would like to be, and maybe a little bit less confident than you would like to be. But it doesn't have to be that way. There are steps you can take that will help you reduce anxiety and become more confident no matter what you're doing and no matter, your state in life, whether you're a student, whether you're a dad, a mom, or a professional or someone working, these steps would help you do that, right? So I just want to share with you, some of the things in this book. So this book is basically divided into the introduction and the chapters, right? So the first chapter is a title that Decide to Think More Positively About Yourself. The second one is Focus and Adjust Throughout Your Daily Interactions with Others. The third one is Use Effective Communication Throughout Your Daily Interactions with Others. Okay, we'll start with these three, and then if we have time, we'll go into the others. And then if you don't, hey, you know what? If you like what I'm sharing with you, you can get this book, or you can subscribe so that when next I'm doing another book review, you would be aware of that. I just like to share with you some of the thoughts processes I have and some of the ideas behind writing the book. One of my favorite quotes, which I actually put in this book, is from Winston Churchill, the wartime British Prime Minister during the Second World War. He says that success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. I like this quote a lot because what it tells me is that you should never give up. You should always strive and try to improve. It resonates a lot with me because that's one thing my dad always told me. He always told me that, improvement never ends. You can never stop improving. You can always get better. So even if you are pretty good, even if you're very confident and you're pretty good at managing anxiety and those kind of situations, you can still do it. You can still become better at doing it. Even if you read this book now, or you try to put some of the things in it the first time and it doesn't quite work the way you wanted, don't give up and don't say, oh, I'm never going to be able to do it. No, you can do it. You can get better. So here's the introduction. You can become less anxious and more confident in your life if you learn to form the habits that will help you get the most out of yourself without relying on others or the right circumstances to make you happy and effective. I can't really emphasize this enough. Our happiness does not depend on others. Whether we are anxious or, confident does not depend on others. Don't be looking for the right circumstance, the right situation, the right person to, understand you, to make adjustments. Please don't do that. You are going to be disappointed. Not because the other person wants to disappoint you, not because people don't really care. It's just the way human beings are. They are more focused in their own interests. They are more focused in what they want as against what you want. Most people are not really interested in common good. They are more interested in it in terms of how that would affect them. So you have to bear that in mind when you're dealing with them, and don't automatically label those who are that way as wicked and uncaring. No, they too, like you and like myself, they are struggling. We are all struggling, to overcome these temptations or these tendencies. So that's the thing to remember. If you rely on others to make you become more confident, you'll be disappointed. Generally speaking, there might be a few people who are really invested in you as a person, who want you to succeed because their own success is tied to you, or they're genuinely interested in just seeing how others get well, that would do that. But for the most part, that's not what most people are going to do. So this is why I say in the introduction that you should not rely on others to make you become more confident, because you will be disappointed. This is because most people will relate to you based on their own interests. So hey, if your interest matches theirs and you both want to get better at something, or you have a similar goal, like if you're part of a team, maybe then you'd see that kind of relationship. But all I'm saying is, don't bet your house on that. Don't rely on that. Don't make that assumption in your actions, because you might be disappointed. I don't want you to be disappointed. Okay? So I'm going to go through, I'm not going to say everything about every chapter, but maybe I'll read the first paragraph, the second paragraph, just to, give you an idea of what my thoughts are in writing this book. The first chapter is to decide to think more positively about yourself. I deliberately use the word decide in this particular one because I think, maintaining a positive attitude towards your life, towards your daily life, towards your interactions is a decision. It doesn't depend on your emotions. It doesn't depend on the balance between negative emotions and positive emotions. It's a decision you make. And it's the first step, the first self-mastery habit that I want to share. So the first self-mastery habit that will help you overcome daily anxiety and become more confident is to decide to always think positively about yourself, about your life, and about the impact of your actions. The number one obstacle to making your life more amazing, more positive, is how you think about yourself. Yes. If you think you're a winner, you behave like one. If you think you're a loser, you behave like one. If you think you're going to lose, you might see yourself losing. If you think that we're going to find a way to win, you'll find a way to win. So, positively thinking about yourself, it's important. Many people think that the key to having a more confident life is the ability to give more and become more for others. Well, if you spend your whole time and your energy, doing things that will not help you achieve your goals, doing things so that people will say, oh, you're a good person, you're trying, you're going to be disappointed. You have to be genuine about your positivity and the things you're doing. You have to be. If you're just doing it so that others can say so, you're going to be disappointed, because at some point, they won't even pay attention to what you're doing. So what's driving your action? What is driving your action? What's driving your action? You have to, first you have to consider how your interaction with others would affect their well-being before they consider whether their actions will make you more anxious and less confident. So sorry, I rephrase that. People consider first how their actions, their interactions, is of benefit or not benefit to them, or is of benefit, or before they consider how it affects you. So you have to keep that in mind. Okay, that's for chapter 1. So I'm going to go to the next one. And before that, what I tried to do in this book too was to put out some thoughts for the day, or acts that I would encourage you to do after you've read it. It depends on how you read this book. You might read it everything once, or you might read one chapter a day or one chapter a week, depending on your schedule and how busy you are. But I wanted to put out thoughts and actions for the day so that if you're done, you would have something to work on. I want you to stop waiting for others to treat you fairly before you treat them fairly. Okay? Yes. The Lord said the more you give, the more you receive, right? Yes. If you're a person of faith, you can relate to that. But even if you're not, and you go and you get on to do psychology, meditations, humanity, you find out that a lot of that, comes back. There's this saying that we treat others how they will treat us, right? So the way you treat others is going to affect how they will treat you too. So always stay prepared for the unexpected and stop waiting for others to admit they were wrong. Don't be judgmental even when they are irritated. Even when you are irritated, be careful, Don't say a word you might end up, or take an action you might end up regretting later. Identify and anticipate behavior patterns. Don't expect to be understood. If you expect to be understood, you're wasting your time. Don't do it. That's my recommendation. Don't expect to be, understood. Protect yourself and your emotions through consistent positive thinking. And don't forget that you are like a ship sailing in the sea of life. Every ship has to overcome obstacles to get to its destination. Those are the thoughts and actions for the day with regards to the first chapter of this book. Second chapter. Second chapter is titled Focus and Adjust Throughout Your Daily Interactions with Others. So the thinking behind this is that you have to remember that despite your best intentions and planning, you will have to deal with stressful events and obstacles in your day-to-day encounters with others. And this can be quite annoying and challenging. So what will you do? Well, while you have a right to express your feelings and emotions, you need to make sure that you do not end up using your hurt feelings to create more hurt and anxiety. Particular days, events can make your life tough if you dwell on them negatively. This can be as simple as birthday parties, work-related events, or other social events like sports, meets, fairs, family reunions, and weddings. So just because an event is scheduled to be a happy one, like a birthday party, for instance, doesn't mean everything that's going to happen to it is going to be great. Just because you're meeting people you haven't seen for years doesn't mean everyone is going to be excited to see you. Go with a positive attitude, right? Go with the intention of having fun. Go with the intention that everything would work out well. But I'm just saying, be prepared. You never know. Focus on being able to adjust throughout your daily interaction in that circumstance with others. You've got to stay focused. If you focus on looking at life as a continuum instead of a destination, you will soon realize that no one event or obstacle can completely determine the sum total of your life. This means that just because you have a bad morning will not mean that you have a bad afternoon or a bad day. You can adjust and improve throughout the day. Even in a single event, the beginning of the event, maybe you come to a party that you were invited and you get embarrassed at the gate. Someone tells you, hey, I don't see you on the list. What are you doing here? And they keep you waiting before someone comes in and gets you in. Don't let that, destroy the whole experience. You have a reason for getting there, right? Think of other ways of lifting yourself up so that the fun that you came to have, you have a clean one and that is good for you, right? And don't, assume that person that did that, it was all on purpose, Just don't let that weigh you down, hey, get down, have something to eat, mingle with some people, or stay in one corner, dance a little bit, and slowly you warm up to the circumstance and assess it and see, do I still want to be here or I don't? If you don't want, but live on your own terms, Don't let others drive your car for you when you can drive it yourself. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to keep to the speed limit? Will they speed throughout? Will they stop? Will they doing chain driving? You can't control what others will do. So focus on your ability to make that adjustment, throughout, instead of letting others, instead of letting others do it for you. That's what I would suggest on that one. There's a check here. I said part of the day of the challenge of daily life is that life is transient and daily events are transitional. Friendships, loyalties, emotions, and interests change with time and age. We have to be prepared to make focus and adjustments every day. According to Winston Churchill, the great British Prime Minister and orator, success is not final and failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Do you have the courage to continue when outcomes become different from your expectations? Can you continue to do your work when your best efforts are rebuffed without good reason? Can you focus on the process and continue to give your best through the most stressful events of your day? These are, some of the questions you ask yourself, and the answers you give will tell you the adjustments you need to make. But what you need to remember is that if you fail to adjust to the changing circumstances and stop striving to excel due to psychosocial factors like ego and personality clashes, or physical factors like confinement or crowded working spaces, then you will limit your ability to transcend your environment and become less anxious and more confident person. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to become less anxious and less confident. I know you can do it. One of the reasons why I talk about just something I share here, you have to stay focused on your own SEP. What do I mean by that? On your own strategy, your own effort, your own process, and persistence, to make adjustments that will help you convert daily problems and challenges into opportunities for improvement. That's not easy to do, but it is a key tool that if you use, you will find yourself being able to, overcome anxiety and become more confident. I think the main habit that you need to use in this chapter that I'm sharing, and I've tried to do myself, and I've seen good results with it, and so have others, is being strategic. Thoughts for the day and action for the day will be to focus on improving every day, stop the blame game, stop blaming others, look at yourself. And it's easier to control yourself than others. If people are finding it hard to control themselves and do what you want them to do, it's going to be easier if you control yourself and make the adjustment for yourself. You will get a better result. So you try to focus and adjust every day and persist. So the final chapter that I'm going to share in this review is use effective communication throughout your daily interactions with others. This speaks for itself, right? The third self-mastery habit that can help you become more confident and less anxious is effective communications. You can live a more confident life if you learn to have effective communication in your daily interactions and changing circumstances. What is effective communication? What does it mean? I'm not going to give you one definition, but I'm going to share with you some of the ideas, okay? One, it's, you try to make your interaction with others a win-win situation. That's one of the key things to effective communication. Yeah. Try to make the situation, the interaction, positive for both you and the other person. When you communicate more effectively when interacting with others, you make it a win-win situation. You reduce tension and make it easier for everyone to get more things done without feeling left out or rejected. How will you know what others want if you never listen to them? How will you know what your spouse, your friend, co-worker, patient, or customer wants if you never listen to them? You know? So the bottom line is that if you want to have less anxiety and be more confident, you have to try to listen more intently to others. You know, more intently to others, so that you find out the way you perceive them. You find out the way you perceive them. It might not always be, what you think. There might be some difference between what you imagine and reality. It all depends on your own preconceived notions about that person and some of the thoughts, These things happen. It happens. So sometimes it's even just the image you have of that person. You might think that person is tall, strong, and you see the person is not that tall, and not carrying his weight very well. I mean, it's still a person. What are you going to do? You still have to look at the inside of that person when you're doing the interaction. Don't let the superficial, get in the way of greatness. Some of the thoughts for this one, thoughts for the day would be learn to speak one after another. So don't, get into verbal fights. Clarify what you think you have heard. Be patient. Listen well and seek clarity. Or speak clearly, sorry. Convert daily stress into opportunities for positive communication. Communicate positively, throughout your daily encounters with others. Learn to be quiet sometimes, okay? Sometimes everybody's not looking to hear you speak or something. So these are the first 3 chapters of this book. I'm just sharing this. So, hey, if in the description, I'm going to put more details. If you want to get the whole book and read it, hey, you're welcome to do that. You can also share with me some of the thoughts. If you have some reaction to the comments I've made so far, look forward to that. I'm going to try and make this book review a weekly part of the Dollar Compass Academy, so that in addition to sharing specific things with you that I think can help you in certain aspects of your wellness, the wellness dimensions that I want you to improve on, that I would like to improve on myself, or that I have improved on myself. Because basically, I'm sharing with you some of the things that's helped me in terms of being a better manager of my interactions with others. So especially cutting down on stress, paying particular attention to my health, and being more confident in my journey, in my wellness journey, in getting to where I would like to be. It's just some of the things that have helped me, and that's why I'm sharing them with you. And that's why I wrote some of these books too, so that they too can help you. So in the description, I'm going to go into a little bit more details on some of these, and also put the link in case you want to buy the book. If you don't, hey, at least you listen to these where I shared my thoughts on these first 3 chapters and some of the things they're doing, and I hope those will actually help you. If you have any comments, or if you disagree, or contrary views, I'm welcome. Just share your comments, and I'd love to respond when I can. I will respond, okay, as far as I can to whatever comments you put there. Well, I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll see you in the next book review, or it's going to be in the next wellness video that I've put out, on other things. Please take time to like this or subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Thank you.